record the session. Okay. So good morning, Ms. Ho. Thank you so much for joining the session. Okay. As I mentioned to you before, so I am a part of the Global Task Force.
Right.
So we are actually discussing how can we utilize class navy system. Okay. So for today, there are two main sessions, two main objectives. Okay, so we are going to discuss. So the first one, I would like to understand how class navy system has bring an impact to your center operation, because you are the first pre-trial of our instructor. Okay, you are not in the trial stage, you are the pre-trial instructor. So we would like to understand from your point of view, so how this system for the past 8 months you have been using has been an impact to your center. And also I would like to understand, uh, I would like to discuss with you how can we utilize this class navy to understand the student's inner voice when attempting the worksheet. Okay, so we are going to utilize the features in the class navy, which is the scorecard and also the replay data. So we will be discussing mainly on these two features for today. Okay, so let's quickly go on the first objective. Okay, so as I mentioned before, it has been 8 months for you using this class navy system. Okay, as overall, how do you utilize and how do you think class navy system itself has bring an impact to your center operation?
Okay, I can start now.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, when it comes to this class navy system, I actually knew about it, but not in detail. When I went to Japan in 2018, it was towards the end of the conference. It mentioned something like this, and there's a very, I think it's just a less than 30 seconds or minutes saying about this system. Yeah, so and that's why I decided to join in the next year 2019 to know more about it, but yet it actually didn't say much. Okay, so that's why during the pandemic, I heard about this is going to have a implementation. So I actually requested if there's an opportunity, I would like to join. Yeah. I'm actually taking advantage of that because I guess that time was a bit slow for us, though my student number didn't drop that much, but I take it as it would be a good learning platform during that time also. Yeah, and also I can see if in future, okay, there's a lot of flexibilities in terms of to be implemented in the operation, because with the number of staffs that we have, and there will be a lot of background management, like say recordings, doing all the planning and all this. I would see that it will save a lot of our manual work. Okay, the impact for me for the past 8 months is actually not that much yet, because I'm still doing so-called dual or doing parallel run. Yeah, in the sense, because it is not fully implemented, right? So I still have some manual in the sense that like the normal, the usual operation, and at the same time I'm running the class navy and also hybrid and all this. So if you are talking about in terms of the time saving, not really yet. Yeah. But I can see the potential of it if let's say it goes into 50% operation, and also because I still need to do manual recording in that sense, in terms of the reporting system, I still need to our staff still need to go into the class maybe and check the number of worksheets that are being used and all this, and go into the to do the reporting on report B. Yeah, so that's what I mean in terms of there's not much of the time saving yet, okay? But I can see if let's say if the center is actually growing, okay, in terms of doing the manual recording, and that will be save a lot of hassle. And if it's really totally 100% implemented, okay, if it's all linked, if it's the system is all linked, because normally when we have 2 or 3 systems run simultaneously, there's actually not much time saving. Yeah, but to me is that it actually is a good attempt to do it, and I actually can explore a lot more when I'm more thinking on the future when I'm using this system. If in case I have students wants to relocate or transfer, okay, and if they have been using this system, the location wise, not near to my center is not the issue anymore. Let's assume the student wants to stay with me, okay. So there is no restriction on the location. There's more on the students, and also with using this, I can see I can actually delegate more to my assistant to get them to do the assigning of the student study plan, and also to learn to read the progress of the students. So in that case, of course, now it's not so ideal yet. Yeah, not ideal yet, because we are still, I'm also learning, but I can see they're able to pick up a lot more responsibility. That's something that I think I can see it actually helps a lot. If let's say if really want to go into train the assistant to be able to like really be my right left hander.
Okay, so
yeah,
I think I agree with you. And I understand that when you mentioned that at the moment you don't really feel that a lot of time saving at the moment, which is yes, because we are still stabilizing our hybrid operation. We are also still recovering from the pandemic. We just started to more or less we just resume back. So we want to stabilize the center, going back to physical class, and also using familiarize of having hybrid, and also you have another this trial part also. Okay, so but I also agree that in terms of center operation, that it will help instructors in terms of when you have the idea of your assistant to be able to read student progress. Yes, this one would be very, very helpful. Even for us as a staff, you are able to see, you know, everything in one place, and we can see at one glance. So we can just, you know, scroll up, scroll down, and then we can see, even like you mentioned about the recordings function, it's really, really helpful. Okay. And then this one is actually bring to my next question to you. Okay. Among the functions that you mentioned just now, the setting, able to see the student progress, the projection, right, the plot, and also you also mentioned about the recording. Okay. Among this function that you mentioned, or others that we are having in class Navy, what are the most value at this moment you've been using for the past 8 months? What are the most value function that you find it's really, really helpful for you?
Okay, and that was later discovery that it's actually recorded, where the student actually do the worksheet. It was actually recorded. So when we knew about it, is especially when we face the problem when students keep doing the correction. Yeah, the correction parts. And kids nowadays, they actually learn really much faster than us. Okay, they actually know how to skip, because we are still learning, right? So we didn't For me, we didn't realize that they actually able to skip doing the correction. Meaning there are two things that we discover. One is that because we assign the study plan, so time they can download 4 worksheets.
Correct.
At one point, yeah. So, and before that we cannot delete whatever that we had assigned. Okay, this now is actually when even they downloaded, we can remove it. Okay. Correct. So that time when we can do and we cannot do anything. Okay, so but that was resolved. So and they actually able to skip and they hit very fast to skip the correction. And another thing I realized also is this is more on the practical side. Okay, if they don't turn on their Wi-Fi, okay, the correction won't show. They would because the marking would done after, right? So they will only see the current worksheet assigned. So they will do the worksheets.
So they continue doing worksheet.
Yes,
because they don't see correction on the
correction being like given like a day or two later. Yeah. So that part was we only discovered it lately, and that's why initially why we a few students we keep questioning why you didn't do the correction. Okay, so only later part we discover, oh, it's because they as long as they didn't turn on the Wi-Fi, okay, the most recent marking done, they won't be able to see if there's any correction. So they'll straight away go into the new worksheets to do. Okay, so at one point, student actually piled up a lot of correction need to be done, and it's something that very new to us. And then later part, sometimes they will argue, I have done it. So the part of the recording comes in nicely. Yeah. So I actually show to parents also because I need to get them to be a little bit involved. So I said it's not being done, okay? But not to blame the student, but we just want to get the thing work, okay? And from there, actually also discover a lot more like just now I mentioned, when you are not on Wi-Fi, the latest information won't appear with them. So they will straight go into the worksheets to do. Yeah. So the part of recording actually helps a lot as because there's no physical worksheets for us to see, right? So this feature is actually very good. Yeah. And also I can assign to students, assign to parents to do self-marking. So lately I had, before the Chinese New Year, I actually get one of the parents to do it. I asked whether you want to make an attempt to do self-marking. Yeah, so she agreed and she actually find it very useful also. Yeah, so I told her we will do the class marking and she will do the homework marking. And that would actually help the progress with the child also because they can straight away, the student can straight away do the correction thereafter. Instead of waiting for normally we'll mark before the next class day. Yeah. So this one I hope to introduce to another 1 or 2 parents because I also have to see whether the parents willing to take the responsibility or not. Yeah.
Okay. There are 2 points that is very interesting. The first one, you mentioned that if Wi-Fi is not open, so student couldn't see the latest information, the latest update.
Yes.
So they couldn't see correction. Actually, this is also quite new to me. So
yeah, it's very new to us. We only discovered it, I think, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks.
Did you share with Lego? Have you shared with Lego this information?
I think when I asked him, he knew about it. I think because in between, lately we have lesser issue like all the question parts. I think I had mentioned to him, why I need to check back our correspondence. But this is something very new to us.
Yeah, this is a very good information where we can, because now at this moment, starting from this month, we are starting to get more students from other trial center. So this one, it's a very important message that we need to share to them the information. Otherwise, like you mentioned, the correction will keep piling up. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, because at one point, I think somewhere in January or December, a few students actually piled up a lot of corrections. So I have to stop assigning the worksheets. And fortunately, that time I can remove whatever that they had downloaded. So I actually put on hold and get all the correction done. Yeah.
correct. So I think this one also at the moment, because our system also still new, we are still adjusting how can it serve students and instructor better. So I think at the moment, what I can think is that is either we advise students to only download a day before or on that particular day of the class day, or either one is actually we have to arrange back our marking day lah, right? So probably we have to mark on that particular day that students submit. Then only when they download right away, probably they will download next day. Then it will download together. I think they will be able to see the correction, right?
I think usually what happens is when we have long holidays, like a week off or something like that. So correction will pile up. Otherwise, when they are, because that time we didn't realize that some of them they didn't turn on the Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So when at least when they are coming, let's say they are attending to the online class or whatever, they just need to make sure that they turn on Wi-Fi. So whatever the latest information will be uploaded.
Okay, correct. Yeah. So I think we have these three options. I think I can share the rest with FD so that we can actually advise our instructor accordingly. And then the second point, actually, you mentioned about uh, what is it? The latest one you mentioned about alamak, I can't remember, but it's very interesting. Okay, never mind. Then along the way, if I remember, then I will check with you. Okay. So
Okay.
moving the next one. Okay. So you are quite pioneer in this using class Navy. So what are the things that probably that you would like to suggest that you think we can improve it further? I actually did catch one of it, hopefully by we synchronize or we our system we combine it together. I think it will be easier. You did mention that one. Is there any other things that you would like to suggest to us?
Okay. Okay. Now you mentioned about it. I think it was back in December. Should be December. Then I realized that I did mention to legal um, the usage, okay, the usage of worksheets for student, it would know in the student record, we realized that it only show those that have been marked. And it will change the number actually only, like let's say, especially month end, right? Month end to do reporting, assuming my assistant or me haven't do the marking yet, haven't done the marking yet. And I'm not sure whether it actually appears in the record.
Oh, I understand.
Because
They didn't total
because
up.
it varies. It varies. Like let's say today I see is like we should use 90. Okay. Then I remember that one time we didn't do the marking. I actually have to go to physically to check, to do the manual checking how many sets of worksheet being used, because it different from what it reflects on the system. So then I'm not sure if it was actually partly because the marking hasn't been done yet. This one I think I did feedback to legal because I see it changed. It changed the numbers. Not all the students, because some we did the marking, right? So it appears to me that those that had not been marked, okay, it wouldn't appears in the record. So that I think only the last report I told my assistant they must do the marking by month end.
I see.
Yeah, and all marking must be done. Yeah. So in order to not see the records actually fluctuating, because I basically, if not, I have to go through the manual like just like the manual works, you know, like I said, in terms of time saving, no. So I actually have to go through and just double check to confirm whether the number appears and the worksheet that being actually used by the system are the same.
Okay. Actually, this session, you are actually sharing more to me rather than I'm sharing to you, because these are all new information to me actually. Because
Yeah,
at the
because
moment I
same
only have
thing.
one student with my instructor, so we couldn't discover much of the functions yet lah. Okay.
So actually, I think this system has a lot of more function, but it just that maybe some of the functions that had in place, that I didn't know. I have not really read thoroughly on the menu also. Okay, for my part, it's more on the implementation. So in between, there's a lot of like finding any errors or any things that then we just try. If I cannot resolve, I will ask legal, then legal will go and ask GSA or whatever, to get the information. Yeah.
Correct.
So as far as this system, I think is fantastic. To me, it's really fantastic if we can use it fully. Yeah. But it's just that the implementation part for the initial stage, we really need to get hands-on. Yeah, really needs to get hands-on and like I said, kids nowadays, they actually know a lot more than us.
Correct. But
they really know a lot more than us. Yeah.
I totally agree with you that we really need to hands-on. That's why at the moment I only have one student, so me and my instructor, we couldn't discover more. Like you mentioned about the recording is not being total up, so we don't have that issue at the moment because it's only one student and the students doing daily and the assistant able to mark daily, so we don't discover. And also about the marking, the students actually being monitored by the father. So I believe the Wi-Fi is always open. So we haven't discovered also the issue of, the correction is piling up. They couldn't see the latest worksheet assigned or the correction, right? So that's why I mentioned it's more of you are sharing more information to me. I'm really glad. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so these are the first part that we are going to discuss. So moving to the second one, okay. The first part, more or less, we are discussing about the management, how this function helps us in terms of managing, assigning the setting better, be able to view back. So it's basically more on the management part. So on the second part, we would like to discuss more. I would like to share with you how can we use this system, especially in terms of the replay data, and also the scorecard to understand more of the students' thinking. So that's why you can see on your screen inner voice. So based on the replay data, we would like to try assuming or imaging the student inner voice. What are they thinking when they doing the setting, doing the worksheet? Okay, so this is just the sharing. Okay, I hope you are okay with the term of inner voice. So it's a new term for us because all this time we keep asking instructor what is the end image, what is your intention. So they are the previous term that we use. So we would like to focus on the inner voice. In other words, we can knowing as internal dialogue and also the voice inside the student head. Okay. So for this one, I finally decided student discussion, we are going to use Justin. Okay. So Justin is P1, right? So Justin is moving P2 or it's already P1, right? This year?
P1,
Yeah, correct. March. Only March is P1. Okay. So the current level that I saw in the setting is B151. Okay. But we are going to discuss the previous set of Justin. Okay. So I will start by sharing on Justin previous recording. Okay. So for this part, I will focusing on level B101. Okay. If you can see the B101, Justin has attempt it for 7 times, right? Okay. So for Justin, I actually on the right side, if you can see, let me. Okay. So if you can see on the screen here, on your right side, I actually already summarized it, okay, for you in terms of only for the page B107. Okay, so if you can see on the screen, for the first time, B107, Justin has attempted it with 34 minutes. Okay, and the second time, the time has reduced to 5 minutes, but the score still remain the same, which is 0. And the third attempt is a huge improvement with the 100 score. Justin only attempt for 5 minutes. Okay, so from 34 minutes and then it's lower down to 5 minutes, and then from 0 mark to 100%. Okay, and then you have given Justin for the fourth, fifth, and sixth time. Yeah, on the sixth time. Okay, so now we would like to see and discuss for the first time. Okay, so as I mentioned, for the first time, Justin has attempted B107 for 34 minutes. Okay, so I will replay the data, the replay data functions. Okay, so we would try to understand why Justin giving us this kind of answer. Okay, let me play first. Okay. Okay, so this is the first part. So the second part. Okay, so I will show you. Oh, this one is the correct one. Okay, so based on the replay data, and you have known the students individually because this is your students. Okay, so why do you think Justin giving us this kind of answer? What is going on in Justin's mind at the moment? What do you think?
This one, we actually skip doing all the pages.
Ah,
Okay, because this is one of the issues which you may not experience yet. We have students that actually skip very fast and they start to play games.
ah,
Okay. So, and also initially we didn't use the triangle. The triangle means that you are not, it's incomplete, right? So at that point, I think we didn't use the triangle. We just use a cross, no. So actually he skipped doing the few pages.
I see. Okay, I think that is where, because I only see the correction is one time because I saw it's two times of crossing, right? So after you sharing, then it makes sense. It's just that it's a good information when you share that Justin wanted to read fast. He skipped and he wanted to read fast because he wanted to play games. But what do you think is the inner voice in Justin's mind? Why he's doing like this? Is it I don't want to do Kumon, I want to play games, so I just I just submit. What do you think is?
Yeah, to me is he just want to play game, and we actually didn't realize it until much later. Really, we didn't realize it. So actually a few of my students, including his sister, and I think I have one more student having this So that was the part. It's really a lot of struggle for us, but we managed to fix it, with the parents, to highlight the issues, because parents also can view the record sheets whether they have done, on the student version. They have these new worksheets. What else? Records, student record sheet. So they actually can also view from there. So from that, actually, I have another meeting with the parents there to show them what is going on. And they also, because sometimes I cannot blame the parents also, because they thought the student just on, they will start to do it. But now with the multiple screen and all this, they are really fast, right? They can just finish and then skip and go to the next screen to do the. So this is some things that also need to more on the home management side, which they need to make sure all the games and all these are removed.
Okay, yeah, I think
so, like you say, Justin actually can do the work. Okay, he actually can do the work. So okay, move on.
Okay, because it's interesting, okay, because you mentioned that Justin wanted to do it fast because he wanted to play games. So I think that is why we can see for the first attempt, he took him 34 minutes. Okay, this one with 3 attempts because 2 correction, right? Okay, so moving on the third time, okay, because the first time he was very rushing because he wanted to do games, to play games, okay. So let's move on the third attempt, okay. So the third attempt, Justin able to do it one time because it's 100%. It's all correct at one time, okay. So let's see the replay. Okay, so do you find any different from the first replay? Probably in terms of speed of writing down. Did you realize?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Did you see any different from the first replay data? This one. Let me replay the first data. Okay. So the first data, it really shows to what you have known lah. Students really wanted to play games. So that's why we can see it's very rushed. But from the second replay, I think we can see that students' handwriting more stable and the speed also is stable. It's not being rushed. So students probably really thinks carefully and right answer. Thinks carefully and right answer. I agree with you. Justin knows how to do it. Right? Okay. But despite of Justin's mind, I wanted to play games. But on the third attempt, he can really see, give you a correct answer for the first time. What do you think that, how do you think that Justin's will face on the third attempt? What do you think that, how is his feeling when he attempt the third time, all is correct with 100% with only 5 minutes?
Oh, of course, feel good.
Yes, correct. Of course, he feels good comparing to the first and the second attempt with its 0 mark and also quite a longer time lah, unless for the second time it's only 5 minutes. Okay, so basically in this one, of course he feels good, but what are the things that we can imagine that is going on in his mind? Does he compute and talks to himself, oh, I actually, if I do it correctly, or if I really look at the question, I can give right answer, then I don't need to do it again, I don't need to do correction? What can you try to imagine what is in Justin's mind, provided you really know Justin's personally. This is
I
not
actually
safe.
know Justin personally because I'm her grand auntie.
Ah, okay. Then can you try to imagine what is his thinking? What is in his mind when he's attempt this worksheet for the third time, and then he got it correct for the first time?
Obviously, he will be very proud and very feel good about it. Other than that, to me, like I said, he able to do it, and actually, this is one of the kids that I'm still trying to really hard to understand what is behind him, because frankly, he was 2 years back. I'm aiming him to be actually able to excel much faster. But how there is certain point that he cannot overcome. Okay, I'm still actually, to be honest, I'm still figure out what was the reason up to certain times that he would have these obstacles in him. No, I'm actually trying to figure out. That's why if your next question going to ask me why I bring him back to repeat, okay, because when he did up to certain point, he would get stuck. That's why I have to bring him back all the way. And right, because I'm actually trying error, to be honest with you, I'm trying error because I'm trying to figure out what actually goes wrong in between, without going back, I actually cannot see. I only can tell that he is a very straight, smart guy. He is very, when he's emotionally, he's very stable. He can do very good work. But he would, at certain point, he would just give you rubbish. Yeah. So actually, that is the reason why I actually have discussed with the parents. I have to bring him back all the way, to see what went wrong.
Okay. I actually wanted to highlight, okay, you as instructor, you are very clear on what you want to instill in him. Okay, I agree with you. Every instructor have that in their mind. And for Justin, you did mention you wanted to bring him back because he will get stuck at certain point because I believe he couldn't really grasp the concept of or the learning focus, right? Okay, so that is the part that previously when FD communicate with instructor, we always discuss on that particular part. So what is students' ability? So should we go back? So what is the intention if we are bringing students back? Okay. So this is the new thing. Okay. So that's why I'm in this global task. Okay. We would like instructor to think on another way in more on the student perspective because you are very clear as instructor. I want to bring him because he will stop. Okay, I want to instill certain things, this, and this. So on the student's mind, okay, when you mention on the third attempts, students are very happy. Of course, he's very proud. I can do in 5 minutes. First attempt, I got it correct, and all is correct. Okay, comparing to the first and the second attempt, regardless of him purposely do it wrong or purposely skip because he wanted to play game. Okay, but at the third attempt, he must be very proud and saying to himself, "Oh, actually, if I do it all correct or if I focus, it took me only 5 minutes. Then I can go play games." Okay, so there must be certain realization on the third attempt. So when you bring Justin back for the fourth time, fifth time, and the sixth time, can you try to imagine what is in Justin's mind when he's looking at the same repetition?
I didn't think he could remember.
Ah,
Reason why is because I brought him back all the way to the addition, right?
correct.
Right. So because that time when he start attempting you see the after the third time, actually goes into 111, is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
111.
moving to B111.
111. So he seems like very confused. Or at that point also he has to do some correction on additions. And he seems to have confusion with the addition and subtraction.
Ah,
Okay. So it was a cross border in between for him. And that's why I decided to bring him. And if you see again, I actually have brought him back to B, is it 91?
You bring back to B91. Yes, correct.
Yeah, 91. He seems to have problem. That's why I have to decided to bring him back all the way. And thinking that to let him ease his mind a little bit, yeah, on doing the initial addition to make him happy a little bit. But of course, look like the time that he spent is still not, because it's all red, right? Yeah. Do you know the color is makes the difference on the record sheet? There's actually red, yellow, or green.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it was all, again, it's all red, but his attempt was much better now. Then when it comes back to this fourth time, because he had been doing the addition, so when it go back to subtraction, it seems like a bit slow down again.
Okay.
Fourth time, but obviously the sixth time it go back to take longer time. The fifth time improved, but the sixth time it go back to slightly longer.
Correct. Correct. But
all this I actually had discussed with the parents and also with him, that I said you need to do a bit more practice. That's why you see my plan for him is like, I wouldn't dare to go through like some, with his ability I actually able to like go 1, 2, 3 or 4th set, then bring him back. But I only managed to go to next, then repeat. It's a very small non-study, how to say, the planning is like first set, second set, then after that I repeat. Not going all the way, then bring him back. But with his ability, he actually can do it. To me, he can do it. But because he's not so stable in that sense that to be able to, how to say, I really don't know how to use the word. He is not consistent in that sense to me. The reason why he's not consistent, that's why I wouldn't dare to give him to like doing more new worksheets, but to have a very small step, one at a time.
okay.
You
Correct. Actually, when you mention, it's very good action where when you have plan that you communicated with students and parents so that they will understand what we want them to achieve. And also for students, they will be more engaged with their worksheet, right? But when I wanted to understand more, when you shared to Justin's, what is his response? Because his response, and when we look through at the replay, does it match or not? You know? So at that point, when you share, what is his response?
He just said, okay, I will do it. Yeah. I think he didn't think that much. He didn't think that much. As far as I don't know whether it's my assumption, but from his commitment to me, he seems okay. Yeah, but then because some are the home situation, I cannot. It's beyond my control. Yeah. So, but well, I think I'm not going to explain further because it's more on a personal view. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, I think for you, you are in advantage side because you really communicated with students and parents. Okay, so that is how you are able to understand how is their thinking in on the plan that you had with them. Okay, so this is the added point for you. Okay, so probably for other students, okay, when we would like to discuss with instructors how the students feels, okay, because like you mentioned that you are the grand auntie, right? So you know the students really really personally, okay, so how about other students, okay, like for example, when we discuss about Justin, what is Justin's inner voice, what is in Justin thinking and in mind for the first attempt. So on the third attempt, doing the same worksheet and it's improved. Okay, this one we already discovered that students are very happy. Okay, so we call it in global task is the open door lah. The door open because students feels happy. Okay, but what's happened if students still doing the same worksheet? Students are happy. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Like you mentioned, probably for Justin, he didn't realize that it's being repeated. But how about other students? What would they feel? I'm doing the same worksheet. Why instructor do the same worksheet? Why giving me this one? I don't want to do it. Okay. So this one we reflect how students do the worksheet. Okay. But I think for Justin, we have to skip for this part. Okay. Probably we can have another discussion about other students. Okay. But I would like to bring you to this one. Okay. At the moment, I can see the latest one, Justin is doing B151. Okay. So moving next is definitely Justin will be doing B161. Okay. So that's why I bring you to the previous history of Justin doing B181. Okay. Like you mentioned just now. Okay. Justin's ability is not consistent. Okay. I can also see that I agree with you. The moment that Justin is doing correction, additional correction, then he mix up with subtraction. Okay. I also managed to see a few other sets when he attempted addition when you repeat starting from B1. Okay. So I agree with you that the ability is not so stable. Okay. But I would like to discuss with you for B181. Okay. What is the abilities of Justin that we can reinforce for the next B181? Okay.
181 or 161?
Sorry, 161. Okay.
Okay.
So let's have a quick replay for the third attempt, the last attempt of B161. What can we understand from this replay? What are the good things in Justin that we can further reinforce for the next set of repetition? Okay. Okay. So based on the side A replay data, what does it tell you about this replay data?
Is very good. This one is very good. This one is the third attempt, is it?
Correct, the third attempt.
The third attempt.
The third attempt, B161, side A. So we can see it's 85. The first attempt is 70 mark, 74, and then it is getting better to 85. Okay, but for the first and second attempt, we can see there are 2 dots. It means he needs to do correction more than twice. Okay, so at this point, why do you think it improved to this stage? Only one attempt, correct? Side A. What kind of attitude probably that it's improved here?
More on the familiarizations and also motivated to, this is the third attempt already.
Probably we can see back the replay data. We can see how students giving us the answer. Yeah,
He's very certain. He's very sure what is he doing.
correct.
Mm.
Okay, he is very certain. Okay, and also we can see he penned down the answer one by one. Rather than the previous set when we can see in B107, he just simply giving us answer. But
Yes.
this one, he is carefully putting down the answer. Correct? Regardless of the third attempt, of course, I agree with you. The third attempt, of course, he already got certain understanding because it's the third time. Okay, but I would like to bring you to highlight that on the student's ability in terms of the attitude. So we can see that if Justin were to be very careful, very calm in putting down the answer, he can do it correctly. Right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So probably just now my question is what are the abilities that we can further reinforce when he is doing B161 on the fourth attempt? What are the things that you wanted to further reinforce based on the current improvement of students?
Um, if I look at the timing that he spent, I'm not sure the 70 over minutes is he was actually do in one sitting.
The 74 is including the 162 and 165. We can see more than 2 times repetition. So it takes longer time because it includes the repetition.
Oh, I see.
So if it's 3 times, then it's the 3 times included.
Oh, is it? Oh, I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
That's why I just quickly bring you to the first one. Okay. So if you can see here, for the first repetition, B107, 34 minutes, it means it's included of the 2 times repetition. Just now got 2 cross. The second one is 5
Oh,
minutes, but no dot. So it's memang is only one set. Side A and side B is 5 minutes. So for the third time, that's why I say it's a really huge improvement for him, Justin. 100% first attempt 5 minutes. Rather than if you can see the fourth attempt, it included correction is 10 minutes. The rest are included of correction. Not only on the first attempt lah. It means that during okay.
I see.
Okay. So come back here to my question, because if we can see in terms of the scoring, it's improved. Of course, for there are certain 162, 164, 165. Okay. There are a number of mistakes that Justin made. Okay. But from the first attempt, second attempt to the third attempt, in terms of the timing, of course, not really much different. But we can see that Justin understandings improve here. Okay. On the fourth attempt, definitely it increases the Justin understanding in terms of this particular learning set. Okay. But how can we further make Justin be able to do the next repetitions with ease? What kind of advice that we want Justin to do in B161 for him to do better?
What kind of advice?
Based on the ability just now we discovered for him when he did this one. Just now you mentioned that he is certain. Okay. How can we make him be certain when he's putting down the answer? Is it my question difficult or you don't understand?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay. Actually, from B161, okay, just now we discovered that Justin be able to putting down the answer very quickly.
Quickly, yeah,
Yes,
quickly.
with a
Yeah.
certain answer. We don't see any hesitation. he able to give the right answer 0, 4, 1, and he do it one by one. Okay, so based on this particular worksheet, probably we can try to imagine Justin doing, Justin will look, then put down answer. Justin look, put down answer, look, down answer. Okay, so is this something that you want him to carry to the next set when doing B161 in order for him to, to be able to reduce all the mistakes and he can really grasp the learning even better. So it means he needs to look, probably you communicate with him, make sure you look, see, and only your right answer. Because I agree with you, at this point, even on the third attempt, he already grabs at least 50% of the understandings of B161. So how do we want to do it better for him?
Okay. Okay. Let's assuming that I'm doing online with him. Let's say tomorrow is online class. So what I would do, or I would get my assistant to do, is to, if I'm not the one who attending to him, to replay, just make use of the features to replay the 161 to show him, see, you can do so good, no? With very decisive and to write down your answer, yeah, without any hesitation. So keep doing this in, because that is one thing, that this thing for replaying to be for him to see, because it's his own handwriting. He can see that I actually phrasing him back, know what the efforts that he make. Okay. So in terms of yeah, I think I will use the replay functions to show him that he can do much better, and can he try to improve. Also, like even like doing the new worksheets, we do attempt to like think and write carefully.
Correct. Yes, yeah. I think it's a great action, a great plan that you wanted to utilize the replay function. Yes, because this is also students' work. So when we are using this replay data of its own, so probably students will feel more appreciation from instructor, that instructor recognize my work. Instructor actually understand my achievement. So I think this one, you will be able to engage more with Justin, and Justin be able to understand what is your expectation on him. Yeah, I think it's very, very great. Rather than we, sometimes you been instructors, we just praise students. Okay, you are doing good, you are doing great. But this one, using students' work itself, I believe it will more work lah. It's more appreciative to students. Okay, so actually these are the only thing that we would like to discuss. Okay, the first part is just now I just want to understand how you've been utilizing this class Navy for the past 8 months, and how does it help you in your daily operating. Okay, because I have to share with my other instructors as well. Okay, all the points that you discover is very, very good. It's new to me. Okay, I will share to them and also the rest of FD. And also the second point is, like I mentioned before, we would like to understand, we would like to utilize this replay data to understand student better. Okay, before we assigning the worksheet, okay, we would like to imagine how the students will feel. What is in students' mind when they see this particular worksheet? Will students feel happy to do it? Will students feel demotivated when do it? Or students, have no feeling? Instructor, give me, I just do it. Okay. So what kind of feelings that we want to instill or develop in our students when they're doing the worksheet daily? Okay. So this one also will bring an impact to us for a longer term. If we can see, like for Justin, you are using another yardstick, because like you mentioned, if you look at the scorecard, all is right. But you itself, you are looking individually. You are looking that the timing is improved, the score is improved. Okay, so these are another things that we have to look into to understand how students would feel. If the time doesn't improve, it's all the mistakes being repeated, then this is something that we really have to consider. Okay, probably we can understand students will leave us soon. Students don't want to do, right? Okay, so actually this is the end of it. Before we end, I just want to summarize, okay, that using the class navy itself, okay, we will be able to understand students inner voice, okay, by looking at the replay data. Okay, and I also actually agree with you. Because since I'm your FD before, I know you communicated with your students even more. I would say even more than the parents, because before class, after class, you will have a chance to communicate with students. Okay, so I believe you also can see the effect when you communicate with the students. Student will be more engaged when they're doing the worksheet, right? Regardless how much they improve, probably it lies on the understanding of the concept, but they will be able to try to achieve what you have set for them. Okay, uh, so hopefully I can have more discussion, or I can get Will to discuss more with you. Okay, we can replay and see more students data, replay data, to understand how students feel, what is in students mind. Okay, so that what we had in mind and with students is actually aligned. Okay, yeah, so that is all from my side. You want anything that you want to share, or anything? What do you feel about this session?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sharing more on additions to this implementation is
Mm.
um, I, I'm not sure I'm the only one, because now I'm the only one that have done up to 8 months. Okay, the new one I think I would like to share is to when to do this implementation, that even more a closer follow-up with parents are very important to get the thing right from the first time. Yeah, that is very important, because for me along the line, I actually face a lot of other issues, like start to realizing student actually playing games, or they actually skip doing it, because the parents may not be able to, sitting with them, So, and especially I actually when I try to get the student in, I actually get more on with the sibling. Okay, I have one that with 5 students, because I know I need to get more involved with parents, so I try to get lesser parents instead of getting 15 students with a different parents. So I try
Understand.
to minimize it. So I have 5 students, I have 3 students, I have 2 students, 2 students, like that. So I don't need to get so much involved with many parents, because I know I need to spend a lot of times in have a closer follow-ups, because it's very new to me also. Yeah, new to parents, and the initial parts is more like the internet issue. Sometimes when they have breakdown, okay, and or they forgot to save, all this ad hoc, more on the technical online issue, and then students skipping works, okay, and all this is along the line. Then we realize all these issues, but that is actually for me is the opportunity to communicate with parents. There are also parents would give up. Okay, I have one, like for example, I have three siblings together. Obviously, when you have more siblings, more than 2, the waiting time, okay, if they only have one tablet, okay, so the waiting time would much longer. So this one really need to be a bit careful. So with the 3, the other 2 may actually try to disturb the others, okay, while waiting. Yeah,
Right.
and eventually one is actually I have to stop him from using it. I insist to have the first and the youngest one to keep doing it. Yeah. So actually it take me many attempts to convince the mother, um, um, continue, give it a try, because this is so new. This is so new, and actually it's so good. To me, it's so good. You actually also able to monitor your kids, the works also, right? Okay, so eventually she actually agreed. They are double subject student. So if for double subject student, if two will be ideal, because the other one can do English. Yeah. So the other one do maths. So the timing will be quite. There won't be so much interruption. Yeah. If you have more than more than two, at least you need to have two tablets. Okay, so if not, the waiting time for the other two will be much longer. Yeah. So this is something that I would like to highlight on this kind of issue. These are the lately I have facing all this issue, but it helps me to improve and to get the involvement with the parents. And also the AT can be done online. So in the events like last time, for like last year, almost 6 months we were online, right? So we normally would defer the AT. Even if I give manual the AT to student, it's not effective. So it's either they have to do it in the center, like for this one class, maybe they can do it while we are viewing over, you know, when they have to share screen. This is very good also, the AT, which can be done at the same time. Yeah, no, it makes no difference. I really like this program. I really thank you that I have this opportunity to do it. Yeah.
I actually thank you so much for your sharing and for your timing to have a quick discussion. Okay, I really hope that you can discover more, utilize the replay data to discover more about students' ability. And also, I believe you know that we are going to have the study group of the tablet instructors. Okay, then maybe we can discuss more with the rest of instructor, and you can share more of your experience closely with them, so that they are be able to match, because instructors to instructors, the the delivery and also how they grasp the information is even better. Okay, so maybe Mr. Hasegawa, do you want to say anything before we
That's a very interesting discussion, and thank you very much, and both of you. Yeah, and I must to say, Ms. Ho, and I appreciate, really appreciate to your contribution and effort to use this class navi or tablet learning, and yeah, we can get a lot of insights or and tips from you to proceed our tablet learning project. Yeah, and I'm very happy to hear that to hear your positive side comments or the feedback comments. Yeah, and that will help us to proceed and develop the tablet learning. And I can understand we have a lot of subject and advantage side and to tackle the tablet learning. Yeah, and yeah, and anyway, this discussion is very newly for us. Yeah, yes, and
New to me also.
yes, so far we focused on the function side of this tablet learning and the operation side. However, if we want to develop this tablet learning, we need to focus on the development of the student much faster than ever. Yeah, and this is the core meaning for us. So this discussion will lead to the will bring about our and more activity to develop students, and by using this class navigator, and yeah, so the Amira is nice trying, and Ms. Ho, thank you for your cooperation and understanding our activities intention. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing your activities later and now onwards. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Ms. Ho, I think you mentioned that you are new to this kind. I'm also the first one. I'm the first one who tried this
Yeah.
type of a new way of doing consultation. Like I mentioned before, usually we will ask instructor, so what is your end image at the end of the set, at the end of the level? So what is the intention of you doing repetition? So apart from that, of course, we will from on and on, time to time, we will still discuss, but we would like to try utilize these functions that we have to develop students more. Okay, so thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, I think I add one more. I think
Okay, what is it?
with this IT, with this such an advanced, we are what to say? We are utilize these IT functions, yeah, the digital function, the interaction of the human side has to be closer.
Correct.
Yeah, it's even much more than previously, because if let's say we solely rely on online, the interaction or the communication between the parents and the student, it has to be even much more than previously, because we really need to break through this thinking. We can not do this, and no, we have to really make an effort, yeah, to put our heart into doing it, to believe that actually this work. We cannot go back already. We cannot go back to previously. So we need to put in more, all right, to believe this is would actually serve us better. That's why I actually look highly on this class. Maybe we cannot stop. We cannot go back already. We cannot go back to previous, the conventional way of doing the learning. So yeah.
Correct.
This is
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to a new and a good direction. So let's you get used to share to other instructors during the study group of tablet learning. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Ms. Ho. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Okay, thank you.
ありが
Bye
とうございました。Thank you.
bye.
谢谢。
谢谢你。Okay, that's all right. I can leave, huh?
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Oh, Amila, thank you very much.
Hi. Mr. Sigawa, do you want to feedback?
Oh, yeah, very nice.